that happens in doTERRA is that you get excited and passionate about the oils and you start to share them. And this day and age, we don't live by everybody, that all of our loved ones. It's easier to move around. And so your team will start to grow and it won't be local. And so it's really important to know how to share oils remotely and also as teams grow in a remote place, how to support that team. So Dana McLean is one of the beautiful wellness advocates on our team. She lives in the northwest corner of Indiana, and she joined doTERRA January 15th. One of my very favorite things about Dana is she was actually an oil skeptic, and those are my favorite, when the oils come into somebody's life and they change people's life and then they become a believer. So Dana also has had a challenge in that she all of her family is in the South and she's in Indiana. So she has had to learn some skills of how to share with her contacts and her enrollments and how to also support them. Dana's also a mom of two beautiful little boys, and I'm very, very excited for the information that she has to share today. So go ahead, Dana.
Okay, thank you so much, Jade. I'm excited to be here today and presenting this information that I have learned through some trial and error, but also by the great support of our wonderful upline team members, my sisters, my mentors, Jade, and so many that have been so helpful through my journey with doTERRA. As Jade said, I was very much a skeptic in the beginning. I had heard of a lot of different natural ways, but I wasn't open to very many of them. But we started using oils in our family, and I immediately became a believer in the power of the oils. And I immediately realized what I had to do, and that was to start sharing the oils with others. And as Jade said, the majority of my friends and family are about 600 miles away from me, and the people that I knew locally were very few, but I just started inviting people to classes and talking to people far away. And today I am finally made it to the rank of premier, which I'm super excited about. And we are looking for things to just continue to grow and prosper in the future. So today, like Jade said, we're going to talk about sharing oils and supporting a remote team. And there's some great tips coming toward your way on this. If you want to make some notes, really simple stuff you're going to be hearing about. And so we'll just go ahead and get started. The most important thing that I have found is to learn how to communicate well with others. I definitely do a whole lot of scheduled phone calls. I schedule phone calls for wellness consults, for following up to see how people are using and enjoying the products. I schedule phone calls as well as online webinar type deals for membership overviews and business overviews. Also, for some people, just having a scheduled phone call just doesn't work for their schedule. So for those people, I do check in via text or Facebook Messenger, whichever mode is better for them. But those are some of the things that I've really learned, that communication is key. Like, you have to be willing to take the time to talk to these people. There are so many different ways that we can communicate now with all the technology. I really love to connect via social media. There are so many avenues out there. I use Facebook, I use Instagram, and then I use Skype, and I'm working on Google Hangout, and we do webinars and Facebook classes. There's so many different ways. So we're going to talk about a little bit of those tonight. Connecting via social media. One thing I like to do on Facebook and even Instagram, because there's a lot of pictures and things go up, is watch for like problem-based comments. People will say, I've had a headache for 3 days, or my kids are always sick, or why can't things get better in our family? And so what I like to do is private message them, or if it's somebody I'm really close with, give them a call. I really and truly do that in sincerity. I want to really express that I really care about them and what they're going through. I'm not just trying to sell them something. And then if they respond in a positive way, then I ask if they would be open to trying a natural alternative. If their answer is yes, I do go ahead and tell them a little bit about how the oils have helped our family. I try to keep that very brief, as we all that are sharers of the oils, we know that we can get really overboard really quick with what information we do share. So I really try to keep it minimal, something that really relates to what they're going through, a personal experience. And then, of course, as they want to know more, I'm willing to tell them more. I try not to overwhelm anyone in the beginning. Um, so you always want to ask permission. That way we're not feeling pushed. It should be everyone's choice if they want to learn more, if they want to receive more. So I ask them, first of all, if they're open to the idea of a natural alternative through essential oils. And if they say yes, then I ask if it's okay if I send them a sample. And if they say yes, I then ask, would it be okay if I follow up with them about 2 days after they would receive the sample? One thing you want to make sure, you want to see how it's working for them. You want to make sure that they actually used it, and if they have any questions about the oils that you sent them. Most of our people are long distance, and most of them, this may be their very first experience with oils. And so a lot of times we have to coach them a little bit more on how to use the oils, where to apply them, how often to apply them, if it's best to use them aromatically, topically, or internally, and how they would need to do that. And then you should always be prepared for the questions based on the oils that you sent. So if you sent them something for headaches, be prepared to answer how they'll use for a headache. If you send them something that they should put in their diffuser to help their children sleep at night or with a cough, etc., be prepared to answer those type questions. What should you send when you're sending out a package to someone? You always want to ship your samples in a padded envelope. I have found that there are some from Staples. They're white and they're padded. They're very affordable. I think there's like 6 or 8 in a pack for just a couple dollars. And then I actually wrapped my sample bottles in the bubble wrap that doTERRA sends our oils to us in. So there's a little bit of green living by recycling there, reusing. I usually ship everything via U.S. Postal Service, first class. I do ask them to stamp them fragile on the package, put a fragile sticker, and it cost me about $3.25 a package for a couple samples and some literature. Personally, I include one of the Nature's Medicine Cabinet's tear pad sheet that gives a great overview of what essential oils are, how they can be used, why they're more beneficial than synthetic alternatives. It tells them a little bit about several of the products, most popular products, talks to them a little bit about the membership and loyalty rewards. It's just a great overall information sheet. I like to include one of my business cards. Some other optional items you could send is a card or letter thanking them for being open to allowing you to send samples, the A to Z guide, a products guide, a printed PDF product from doTERRAuniversity.com, so you actually can go in and print off a PDF of the product specific that gives different tips and things that they could use that oil for other than the problem that you're sending it to them for. And actually, another thing I like to do is always invite people that are long distance to attend an event. There are always some type of webinar going on either by members of our team or great leaders within doTERRA. And I like to have people follow the webinars that I watch so that we can talk about it later and follow up and see how they liked it, what they liked about it, how they felt when they watched it, if there was any questions. And you can always determine your contacts if they would benefit from these webinars or not, depending on their needs. And there are a lot of webinars posted on YouTube. There are webinars that are live. A lot of people record their webinars now so that there's access later. So there's some really, really great tools out there. There's many product or element-based webinars, as well as great business building ones for the builders that you have that you're working with from a distance. I now have people in, I believe it's 8 states, and that's about 7 states more than I expected when I joined back in January. So being able to connect new builders with great webinars is very beneficial, as well as for myself, because like I said before, my mentors are miles and miles and miles away from me, and I would love to be at their meetings, but so we can connect via webinar, or if there's some actual events posted on live stream that I love to attend as well. So one of my most favorite tools doTERRA has given us is called Class in a Box. If you're not familiar with this, the Class in the Box is something that was rolled out back in September at convention. It includes some invitations, doTERRA Living magazines, 10 bottles of the 5 milliliter size of wild orange essential oil, a sample sheet, some brochures of different types, a product guide, some tear pads, and then a DVD. And the DVD that it sends teaches your class for you. This concept The concept was presented at convention in September, and it's been a complete game changer for new builders or people who simply want to share with their friends. If you have someone, like I have some ladies that live several states away, and they really are not open to going big with teaching classes. They feel a little reserved in that, but this class in a box has become a great tool for them to be more comfortable with that idea. What you do is you pay $25 directly to doTERRA. You can order it with your order. It doesn't give you any PV, but it's just $25, and you get all those great tools we were just talking about. In the DVD, it teaches your class for you just beautifully. It's got introduction to oils, how you can use them. It's just so, the beautiful is the best way I can describe the videos. But what I have found is my favorite way to use this is to do a virtual class online. I've done this via Skype, and a girl on my team has also done this via Facebook. And what you can do is each of the video segments are available at www.doterratools.com. You click on the United States and then go down the screen, and it will give you each of the videos available for download. I open the videos, and then I copy and paste the link for each of them for your client to I copy and paste it in through Skype or through Facebook, whichever the case may be. The client opens it, watches it, I give them an amount of time to watch it, and then when they finish, I ask if there's questions, just like we would do if it were a live class. This has been really great. I had one of my local builders who had a friend in St. Louis, and that's hours away from us, and we did this one night, the end of the class, and she enrolled, and she's been a wonderful user and sharer of doTERRA since then, and I don't know how we would have done this without Class in a Box with her. One tip I would definitely give is if you're uncomfortable with the computer and with the virtual world, I would say jump on and just try it out. Get comfortable with virtual reality. If you don't know how to Skype or do a Google Hangout, now is the time to figure it out. Try it out on family members or friends just to get a feel for how it works. If you're part of our team and you really don't know what to do and you want to find a test subject, get in touch with me. I'd be glad to help you figure it out. Because as your team grows, you're going to need this more and more, and your team is going to need it more and more, and that way you can help your team continue to learn and to grow. Like I said, back in January, I actually had zero intention of doing anything with the business. By February, I was ready to teach classes, and here we are in December, and we have people all over the United States that we're in contact with pretty often. How would you teach a class from miles away? Number one, Class in the Box. If you don't want to go that route, you can simply send samples of a few oils to your host. Have her have 4 or 5 guests there, and have them just to sit around their laptop or iPad, however they want to receive it, as you present the class. And then the host would just send around the oil, and the guests get to experience the oils right there in her home. You're right there face to face, and she's doing the handwork for you, passing the oils out. So that's another easy way to teach a class, even though you're not with the people locally. Facebook and Google Hangout online classes. There's a growing number of people finding success by posting Facebook and Google Hangout classes. How it works is about every 3 to 5 minutes, a new photo and information is posted, the same things that we would typically share in a live class. Guests have the opportunity to ask questions and engage in the conversation. The drawbacks to this is the people are not able to experience the oils firsthand. But if you want, you actually can pre-qualify some of your guests and send them samples of certain oils before time for the class. So you need to give yourself a couple of weeks of prep work, have your class set up, get people registered in, and then send them their samples. And that way, when class comes, they have those oils on hand. And also be aware if there are people on your team that host these types of classes so that you can invite your friends and family afar off to attend these classes. This actually seems to be a good way to introduce some to the oils without them really feeling pressure to buy anything. I don't feel that in our classes we really pressure, but some people just feel like if they're sitting in front of you that you're going to expect them to buy. And then this way it kind of gives them an intro to an intro class, if that makes sense. I always like to follow up with them after the class is over to answer any questions and then go ahead and get their orders processed if they're ready to do that. So that's really all that I had for the sharing the oils remotely. We do have some upcoming webinars, and I'm going to go ahead and pass this back to Jade and let her explain all of this to everyone. Again, I want to say thank you very much for attending our webinar today. Sharing the oils remotely from afar off has been so beneficial for my family. It's helped me to grow and find myself again by growing through doTERRA, but it's also helped me to reconnect with people, coworkers that I haven't seen in years and years that we started connecting back with through Facebook. And then now that I go home for holidays, I get to meet up with them and talk about oils, and it's just blessed my life in so many ways. And I'd love to help anyone else to be able to and find the financial freedom that doTERRA is offering for my family. It's just an amazing opportunity, and I love to be able to share it with those near and far. So at this point, I just want to say thank you, and I'm going to pass the mic back to Jade.
Thank you, Dana. Such good information. One of the reasons that I asked Dana to host this webinar is because she did a Skype class and had a really great experience with it, and I hadn't even done a Skype class yet. And then another woman on her team did a Facebook class, and it was so fun. I was like waiting for the next post. I was like, what's she going to say next? So it's really great. The thing I love about this business is you get to be creative. You get to say, okay, I'm interested in this, and this is how I want to present it to my team. And there's people far off who I want to share them with. And Dana was the first team to do a webinar. And so I'm just so blessed to have her. And I've never met her face to face, but I know one day we will. And I'm very excited for that. So thank you, Dana. So the upcoming webinars are, I don't have the information on here. So if you're interested, you can join the Nourishing Essentials Facebook page. That's our team page for our events. And then, so what's coming up is that we're doing a webinar on January 4th, and it's a new year, new you cleanse, the essential oil. So it's the 30-day doTERRA cleanse, and all the information is on there. And I believe we're doing that one at 4 o'clock, and that's just so that we can get all of the people who are remote on board. There will be a Facebook page also made for this, and I want to respect the people that don't use Facebook, so we're trying to figure out another name so that anybody that does this can also, we can all be together in a community doing this cleanse together and supporting each other. And then January 17th, we're doing a do-it-yourself motivation kit for the new year, new you with essential oils. And that's going to be stuff to keep you motivated, how to help with cravings. We're making a anti-craving spray for sugar cravings. We're making a yoga mat and like exercise equipment, deodorizer, and antimicrobial spray. So it's going to be a fun one coming up. And then January 17th, right after that, we're going to be doing another business training, and this will be on find, teach, enroll, duplicate, and it'll be on how to build your business. So every month we have an extra one in January, which we don't usually have, but we are having an extra one in January just so that we can get everybody on board with that, with the New You, New Year cleanse. And then every month we always do one webinar and one business training right after it. And please always invite your team, invite anybody who's interested. So thank you again for coming, and I look forward to meeting you all again on the next webinar. Have a happy holiday.